first, I just want to say it's great to be here. I'm Chad Banks. I'm the Member Relations Director at the Chamber of Commerce. And on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce, we're really grateful for you to be here today to hear from the mayor. Thank you, Denise Porter and Autumn Trace Senior Communities, for hosting this wonderful event. I wanted to just give you an opportunity to tell us a little bit about Autumn Trace.
Yeah. Hi, welcome. I'm Denise Porter. I'm the Executive Director of Autumn Trace, and we've been here since August. And if you know anyone that could benefit from our services, we are independent senior living with assistive services, and we'd be happy to take you on a tour or show you what we're all about. I just want to say thank you to my staff. They did a superb job with all the food today. Thank you all for coming, and if you have any questions afterwards for me, please feel free to stop me. Take care.
Well, again, thank you, and thank you all for being here. So, Mayor Ryan Daniel, one of the things that I appreciate most about you is your communication with others. And I think you do a fantastic job, and I know I can speak for all of us that we look forward to hearing from you today. So thank you for your unwavering support to the Chamber of Commerce, and thank you for the good works that you do.
Thank you. Hello, everybody.
Hello.
Thanks for coming out today. So before I get started, I just want to continue the thank you parade, if you will. There's a lot of people to thank that made this happen, but certainly thank you to the Chamber of Commerce and Visitors Center for this great event. I do appreciate Autumn Trace for all the work that has been done to make this happen. If you've not been here, and I think many of you probably haven't, you really need to stick around for a tour afterwards, because this is just the tip of the iceberg. When they opened, I got a tour, and it is an amazing place, and so I want to thank you for that. Thank you for hosting. Also, obviously, I want to thank the band, who, I don't know if they're there anymore, but they're upstairs. Okay, thanks, band. Thanks, everybody, for the great prelude, if you will, for this event. So, there's a lot to talk about, as you have seen around our community, and as you've seen driving the roads and experiencing different events. There's a lot to talk about. So, in order to make this a little more enjoyable for you, I did put together at least some pictures to entertain you as I drone on for 30 minutes. But hopefully it's at least somewhat enjoyable for you. So, we'll go ahead and get started. Common Council and Board of Works members, department heads, chamber members, distinguished guests, and citizens, I'm honored to once again present the annual State of the City address for the City of Columbia City. Over the past year, our city has continued its upward momentum as a leader in Northeast Indiana. Where it once was true that Columbia City was just another dot in the sea of rural America, our city is now looked upon as a leader by regional and state leaders. Now, I'd be remiss if I didn't start out with what I would say is a highlight of our year, which was our growth rate. Now, as we all know, a leading indicator of community success is whether people are actively choosing to move to our city. Now, if people want to join our city, bringing their families and putting down roots, we obviously must be doing something right. See if it works. There we go. So I'm proud to report that over 1,100 more people called Columbia City their home since 2010. In fact, census data shows that Columbia City was the second fastest growing city in Northeast Indiana in percentage and the third fastest growing city in Northeast Indiana by actual population growth. Fort Wayne. Friends, this can't be understated. The more people that are choosing to call Columbia City their home, the more dollars are then invested in local shops, businesses, and restaurants, invested in nonprofits and community activities, and invested in our schools and beautification of our community. We have consistently chosen to invest in ourselves because our city's future truly depends not on what we do tomorrow, but rather on what we do today. So I'm proud of the steps that have been taken by so many people. There we go. Taken by so many people in this room and throughout our community to truly come together for the betterment of our citizens. From nonprofits who have filled the void and tackled tough challenges to volunteer groups who put on events that attract visitors from miles away, this city wouldn't be what it is today without you. From the entrepreneurs who have taken a chance and started a business in our community, to the unsung heroes who grab a trash bag and clean up our parks, we're stronger because of you. And from the department heads who put plans to action, to my fellow elected officials who guide your city government, I'm thankful for your leadership. The unity in our community is strong because we care deeply about our community's past, present, and future. Now, with all that being said, it's clear that the state of our city is bright. Now, bright is defined by Merriam-Webster's dictionary as radiating, or beautiful, or lively, or cheerful. I think that really defines us pretty well. We're radiating out as an attractive place to live and work and play. Our parks, places of worship, and even our downtown continue to shine in beauty. The First Friday and other community events are certainly lively. And our citizens and business owners with a cheerful, welcoming committee to so many new residents. So as you can see, bright was a pretty easy choice. The state of our city is bright, and will continue to be bright into the future. So let's look at the past and future projects, as well as the challenges that lay before us as we shape our community to be better today than it was yesterday. After literally 20 years of planning and constructing, the city's federally mandated long-term control plan was finally finished. The final phase of this project, which came in $2 million under its original projected budget, provided 3 new underground retention basins and upsizing of many pipes for heavy wet weather events. We also constructed a $500,000 phosphorus treatment facility in order to comply with yet another unfunded mandate from our friends at the federal and state government. No offense, Senator. Currently, we're beginning an engineering study to reroute a portion of sewer force main that happens to run underneath the playground at Mary Raber. It's not a threat, don't worry. This project is funded through the American Rescue Plan dollars, and engineering should be completed by the end of the year. Now, honestly, it's nice to be able to do a project that we actually want to complete rather than one we're mandated to complete. We're also working, by the way, on a 5-year, on our normal 5-year Indiana Department of Environmental Management permit and overhauling the Columbia Shores Lift Station this year. In the electric department, after 11 years without a rate increase, we finally needed to make an adjustment. As you can guess, the prices of everything we do and provide had gone up significantly over the last decade. Heck, we could say over the last year, right? And it was putting our utility into a deficit scenario. So after much discussion with the Utility Rate Advisory Board, which by the way is a citizen board made up of 4 city utility customers and a non-city utility customer. So discussions between them and the city council, the group decided to enact this adjustment as a 2-phase increase to allow customers to better manage the price increase. Now, even after the increase, our electric prices are still lower than the nearest utility. Our electric department has been working closely with AEP, the provider of the transmission lines into our city, who are working on an upgrade of their lines to effectively double the amount of power that can flow into our city. Now, this project requires the upgrade of multiple electric substations and infrastructure at our cost to accommodate these changes. This is a multi-year project throughout the city. Also in 2021, we welcomed the city's first solar park. Many of you were there for that ribbon cutting on Opportunity Drive on the far northwest side. Indiana Municipal Power Agency is the owner, but all power generated from this solar park stays in our community, and at full capacity can power over half of our power load with this green energy. We're currently assisting IMPA in looking for additional solar sites to power the future of our city. This year, we're going to install new street lighting along North Main Street to improve the energy efficiency and attractiveness of this area. This project, we're hopeful, right, Sean? Hopeful, to occur this fall. We're also on the verge of full implementation of our AMI automatic metering system, which shortens outages while improving responsiveness and efficiency. In the water department, we continue to respond to the growth of our community by installing new automatic water meters, rebuilding one of our city wells, and replaced a section of water line on Jefferson Street that had multiple breaks over recent years. We also continue to inspect and clean and install new stormwater infrastructure throughout the city. Now in 2022, we'll be working in partnership with the Whitley County Consolidated School Corporation to study the potential for a water main to provide water to Northern Heights Elementary School. We anticipate construction of this project could potentially occur in 2024. We'll also continue to repair and replace problem areas in our water and stormwater systems. Now, overall, our utilities are in good shape. We continue to be proactive in improvements while also being mindful of our customers and the cost to run this infrastructure. Over the last decade, I've heard from many people that the large amount of increases really are kind of tough to swallow as we do it all at one time. Whether it be 25% or $20, it's clear to me that customers aren't fans of big, bulky rate increases. I know that's a surprise. We've explored the issue in depth over the past year, and in response to these concerns, we're going to begin annually looking at our utilities to determine if minor adjustments need to be made. Now, of course, it's my goal to stop this cycle of waiting until the last possible moment to do a rate increase or a rate adjustment and then slamming our customers with a massive amount, only to do it again in 5 to 7 years when it's needed. Instead, we're going to take a more responsible and responsive approach, looking toward the future and making yearly determinations on what's best for our customers and our utilities. I'm going to go off script for 2 seconds and just say this is not an easy lift, and I know that we've had conversations with our city council about this. It is not necessarily a political fun thing to do, but I will say it is a very impactful thing. It is so much easier for customers to be able to plan for and prepare for, and I truly am thankful that we have a council that is thoughtful and thinking toward the future as we move forward. Back to script. When our administration began in 2012, we took a wide view of our community and determined that over the years, multiple subdivisions had been annexed into the city without being given the services they deserve. Now, specifically, we pointed to the Wooddale subdivision as well as the Westgate subdivision, who needed really infrastructure overhauls to bring them up to the city standards. So in 2018, we completed an overhaul of the infrastructure in the Wooddale subdivision. With this major project under our belts, we then turned our sights to the Westgate subdivision. Because Westgate is 3 times the size of Wooddale, you can imagine we had to split it up into 3 phases. By doing 1 phase at a time, we can complete these projects without any tax or rate increase and without putting additional cost on the property owners. Thankfully, the city received a community crossings grant from the Indiana Department of Transportation in late 2021 for $835,000 toward this project. Phase 1 will begin within the next month and will include new streets and sidewalks, curbs, stormwater drainage, and underground electric service. I should also mention, we also moved some water lines as well. Subsequent phases are planned to occur in 2025 and 2026. We're also studying the drainage throughout this area and hope to have some solutions to the plethora of water that tends to drain to and through this area of our community. Our street and sewer department completed multiple street pavings and other miscellaneous projects in 2021. Improvements were made to the Green Hill Cemetery Drive and a few other city streets. Over 20,000 feet of sanitary sewer main was cleaned, and over 268,000 pounds of debris was collected by the street sweeper. So one major project our department tackled was the brick crosswalks throughout downtown Columbia City. A product of the 1990s downtown renovation project, the brick crosswalks had seen some better days. Even after multiple attempts to repair and replace the bricks, the wear and tear of 20 plus years of vehicles and snowplows and weather had brought us to a crossroads. Excuse the pun. I'm sorry, that's a dad joke, isn't it? I'm sorry. We decided the best and safest way to improve these crosswalks was to remove the bricks, then pave and stripe the crossings with a piano keys look. Now the project was completed and we are going to be restriping them soon here once the weather gets a little warmer. You may not know this, but the street department is basically our jack of all trades department. They handle many services including limb pickup and leaf pickup, grave digging, sidewalk enhancement, snow plowing, alley trimming, asphalt patching, sewer televising, ADA ramp replacement, and many other services. So for 2022, they have already started one major project, which is to pour the new sidewalks around City Hall and installing the ice melt system. Now, as you may remember, in 2020, we undertook the first phase of this project, taking care of what I call the X shape of sidewalk in the middle of City Hall's front yard. Now we have started the second phase of this project, which we've actually kind of split into two phases, as you can see in the picture. That will include the main curb face sidewalk that surrounds City Hall. By installing the ice melt system, which the county government already has, they were many years ahead of us when it comes to this, we can cut down dramatically on our snow plowing and salting costs for decades to come, while providing safer walkways for citizens in the wintertime. And I do want to mention, that really was the impetus for this project, was the safety of our residents and the issues that we had on our sidewalks at that time. In public safety, our police and dispatch departments had a strong year. The police department provided services for over 17,000 calls in 2021, with 12,000 of those being self-initiated. They implemented a new drone program that can help find missing persons and fleeing suspects. They continue the Patrolling for Presence program that assisted 100 children in our community. They also improved efficiency by installing wireless units in all city police cars, as well as judicial file sharing for the court system. These systems allow data to be transmitted between officers and dispatchers or the prosecutor at the touch of a button. In 2022, we have already replaced a few aging vehicles, participated in a joint training exercise with the LEPC, or the Local Emergency Planning Committee, and continue to train our staff on a variety of tactics and expertise. We also plan to roll out a Citizens Academy in the near future, which will provide residents the chance to get an up-close look at public safety and to engage at a deeper level in our city. Dispatch continues to lead in numerous areas through the expansion of trainings, usage of the Spillman dispatch system, and interaction with city utilities. All of these items move our dispatchers toward more reliable, effective, and responsive service for citizens. When we renovated City Hall to accommodate a new dispatch center, we made a conscious choice to invest in a stable and calming voice on the other end of our emergency phone call. We made a choice to be advanced in technology, provide ease of access to vital information to build for the future, allowing for expansion and integration of staff. We did all these things knowing that people will continue to choose Columbia City as their home if we provide a safe and welcoming environment. We also did it with the idea that our taxpayers deserve the best care in their worst moments. Now, I'm proud of the impact that these frontline workers have on not only our residents, but also on our police officers and firefighters, who are really our boots on the ground. Speaking of firefighters, our fire department responded to over 800 runs in 2021, with 62% of those being medical and a whole 4% being fire-related. Now, as you can tell by these numbers, the department acts as a first resource for residents who have a medical issue. This continues to be a trend for the Columbia City Fire Department. Many times our firefighters are actually the first ones on the scene, comforting patients and providing basic life support functions until the EMS arrives. Yet, we must prepare for any situation our staff may encounter. On the morning of May 22nd, as I stood in my garage speaking with a neighbor, a jarring boom echoed across our city. In fact, the sound could be heard, I think, as far out as Tri-Lakes and maybe even farther. I looked toward the sound to see a massive cloud of black smoke rising from the North Line Street area. Now, I'm sure many of you probably remember where you were and what you were doing at that moment last year. An explosion occurred at the former R&D Yamaha building that ripped apart a building, damaged nearby structures, and sadly killed a local resident. Now, amidst the tragedy, however, I really was amazed at the response of our firefighters, police officers, EMTs, utility staff, and other public safety personnel from numerous volunteer fire departments. It was an incredible scene of cooperation, coordination, and expertise on display for the community to see. Yet, it also was a strong reminder that across our city, our county, and our nation, our fire departments are in desperate need of volunteers. As you may know, our department is a combination department, which means we have a combination of full-time and volunteer firefighters. Yet, due to an increase in service hours required by the State Fire Marshal's Office and a decrease in the amount of interest in the fire service, our department alone is short 16 or more volunteers. We've attempted to combat this deficit through Whitley County Consolidated Schools Fire Academy at Columbia City High School, with minor success. At the end of the day, there is a national volunteer crisis that must be addressed either with new volunteers stepping up or with more full-timers being hired, meaning more tax dollars being needed for citizens to provide fire protection. Now, this isn't merely a Columbia City issue. Lost my place. There we go. So we need to work collaboratively together in Whitley County to address this glaring issue. In the near future, you'll be seeing a few short videos on social media that we will be using as a recruitment tool, showing residents the impacts of volunteerism and how they can get involved in protecting their home community. Now, in 2021, the fire department purchased new air packs for our entire department, upgrading their safety equipment and improving their ability to fight fires inside of structures. They also cut the ribbon on the new Walt Crowder Fire Training Facility, which allows our department to train in live fire training scenarios. This project was multiple years in the making and is a real asset to our community. This year, they'll be replacing an outdated generator within the department and implementing an even stronger training program. The Parks Department had a stellar year in 2021 with the opening of the new Morses Park bathrooms, a new concession stand, and the new park maintenance facility. The maintenance facility is over 7,000 square feet, taking our maintenance equipment located from 7 different barns and moving it into one singular location. We also began maintaining the former Columbia City High School property, also known as Eagle Park. Now, as you may know, we have applied for an Indiana Department of Natural Resources Land and Water Conservation grant to start what I call Phase 1A of the Park Master Plan. This project would include a new skate park on the north side of the property, refurbished parking lot on the south side, the installation of sidewalks on the west end, a large trellis with swings, and potentially new pickleball courts. We're waiting with bated breath, as you can guess, on the announcement of this award of the award winners, but feel strongly that this is the first of many projects that will dramatically impact our recreation for residents and attractiveness to visitors. Certainly, I would encourage you to visit the master plan for this site on our website, which is www.columbiacity.net. We're hopeful that construction of this project could start this year. Other projects happening this year include the building of new dugouts on baseball fields 3 and 4, managing a youth travel soccer team, and installing a Veterans Memorial at Patriotic Park on Reddick Avenue. This Veterans Memorial will honor all veterans, whether they served in war or in peace. I could think of no better place for this monument than at a place that honors the most patriotic among us. Information technology continues to evolve and change as we look for better ways to interact and engage our constituents. In 2021, we changed out servers, improved our fiber network connectivity, added security cameras throughout our properties, and moved all internal accounts to Microsoft 365. Who's done a Microsoft 365 change? Yeah, some of you have, yeah. It's fun. Our one major project that was finally accomplished this year was the upgrading of our city council chambers to include video recording and broadcast capabilities. Now, since February 23rd of 2021, the Board of Works and Common Council meetings have all been broadcast live through this new system on Facebook. Further, every recorded Board of Works and City Council meeting can now be found on the city's YouTube page, City of Columbia City, Indiana. So if you search YouTube, you can find that. Looks like this down in the corner. There's all kinds of little videos. This is yet another way that your city government is increasing transparency and accountability. Now, as a side note, you can catch today's State of the City address and other past years on the same YouTube account, if you ever want any sleeping material. Now, this year, our IT director, Terry Wary, has undertaken another major project to install free public Wi-Fi throughout our downtown area, as well as in Morses Park and at the Russell and Evelyn Fall Aquatic Center. Now, obviously, this will be a great addition to improve quality of life while attracting people to our downtown and park spaces. Speaking of park spaces, we were excited last year to open up Oki Alley. The activated alleyway, named after the former citizen, businessman, and Rotarian, Shinzo Oki, was completed and opened on May 7th with Shinzo's great-granddaughter, Leia, joining us for the ribbon cutting. Now, since the opening, both sides of the Pocket Park has been occupied with not only occupied, but renovated as well, with Tokyo Steakhouse on the east side and Chapman's Restaurant and Brewery on the other. Internally, we've made great strides toward being an employer of choice. As a city government, we believe that the investment our citizens make in their tax and utility dollars should be returned at an equal or greater investment into the community. Now, this investment begins with a highly skilled workforce that is willing to go over and above to provide great customer service to our citizens and our customers. Multiple years ago, we implemented an employee wellness program that incentivizes employees to make healthier choices and take an active role in their health. Every year, we've won awards ranging from most employee engagement to most wellness impact. At the beginning of 2022, we began a partnership with the Whitley County Consolidated Schools and Parkview Health to provide an employee clinic. The goal of these employee benefit programs are to drive down our insurance costs and encourage healthier lifestyle choices. Beth Agney, our Human Resources Director, has continually advocated for all of these programs as ways to be an attractive employer of choice. Thanks, Beth. The benefit to our residents are happier, healthier, and more productive public servants. Now, other items of note include multiple annexations that were requested and granted, including the new Columbia City High School property. And earlier this year, the Common Council approved new council district maps to accommodate the 2020 census and our growth. In community development, many new businesses opened their doors while others remodeled and expanded. There we go. From boutiques and pizza shops to restaurants and antiques, entrepreneurs from inside and outside the community are choosing Columbia City to be their home base. In 2021, we saw over $25 million in construction take place, an increase of over $4 million from 2020. We also saw almost 300 permits issued throughout the city, which was also an increase from 2020. Now, so far this year, we've seen multiple new businesses open up and many others in some phase of construction. I hear there's a Culver's that lots of people are excited about. We also have many new houses being built, yet still struggle to attract developers to keep up with demand. Land values and a lack of interest in selling land appears to be the major sticking point for many home builders. We continue looking for options on ways to increase home building in and around the city. And by the way, we're not alone. You talk to any mayor across any place in Indiana, and you hear the same thing. So, now maybe on I guess a good note as well. Another great note. On November 3rd, we broke ground on a citywide fiber optic internet project with Surf Broadband Solutions. After literally a decade of working toward fiber to the home, we found a partner to provide this service without the need for taxpayer subsidies. Now, while the project is behind schedule, mainly due to factors outside of our or Surf's control, we are very excited to see fiber optic cable going into the ground. We anticipate this project will be completed in 2023. A few weeks ago, we received some fantastic news that we're receiving a $1.8 million grant, Next Level Trails grant, from the Department of Natural Resources. This grant will help us complete the south loop of the trail from Main Street over to Line Street, and from Line Street then to the new Columbia City High School property, as well as Indian Springs and Little Turtle Elementary. We anticipate construction to commence sometime toward the end of this year, hopefully, or beginning potentially in 2023. Now in 2022, we also began the process of creating we will begin the process of creating a downtown strategic investment and streetscape plan. This planning effort will focus on the future of our downtown, its attractiveness, and will provide a creative strategy to improve the area for all ages. We plan to kick off this initiative in the fall, and I hope many of you, and I know many of you are downtown people, but I hope many of you and all of our downtown stakeholders will get involved in the process. There's going to be plenty of opportunities for feedback, input, and certainly creativity. This plan is primarily funded through the American Rescue Plan. Now, another exciting development on tap for this year is the creation of the Columbia City Arts Commission. Like a few other communities, our city is looking to create a more enhanced arts culture. As you may know, arts is a word with a very broad definition. It can include visual, dramatic, auditory, musical, or any other form of expression. The goal of the Arts Commission will be to encourage recognition, expression, and presence of public art in the city of Columbia City. With the rise of murals and musicals and all other forms of art in our community, there is no better time than to institute a specific local commission that is tasked with partnering together for the collective good. Of course, I'll be asking the Common Council to institute an arts commission in our code of ordinances to begin the formation of this fantastic group. In all, 2021 was a year that was filled with ups and downs. We started still in the grip of a worldwide pandemic, mask mandates, and shortages on consumer goods. We ended the year with inflationary pressures and shortages on just about every material we use. Yet despite these issues, 2022 started with tremendous investment from individuals inside and outside of our community. Our residents also saw the fifth straight year of tax rate decreases. Now make no mistake, as we move forward, we will continue to stretch your dollar and invest in the places with the greatest return: our infrastructure, our utilities, and our amenities. Late last year, we heard from a researcher from Indiana University by the name of Drew Klasik. Anybody in here heard from Drew besides my staff? Okay, highly recommended, very much so. About what the future holds for rural Indiana based on decades of data from the census. The trend was, I would say, a bit jarring, as more and more individuals are choosing to live in metropolitan and micropolitan areas, cities and suburbs, than in the rural areas of our state. Quality affects quantity when it comes to communities. If you have a low-cost community, yet nothing for families to enjoy, you're going to experience population decline. If you have a high amenity community, yet have a high crime rate, you're going to wither on the vine. Cities that invest in themselves and in their residents while keeping reasonable tax and utility rates will not only grow but thrive. Specifically, Drew told us point blank, as a city, you have to choose whether you want to manage your decline or invest in your future. That's quite a wake-up call. As I'm walking downtown during the farmer's market, grabbing a bite to eat at Pickles Cafe, or taking a bike ride with the family on the Blue River Trail system, these words ring over and over and over again in my head. Now, I've been mayor long enough now that you probably know where I land on this proposition. It's crystal clear that if we want to keep tax and utility rates reasonable, if we want to attract your kids and grandkids back to Whitley County, if we want to expand the dollars invested in active participants in our nonprofits, we absolutely, positively, wholeheartedly, and unequivocally must invest in our future. Failing to do so is to give up on ourselves and our past and our future. Now, friends, this choice could not be more clear to me. And I hope you too will see that this choice is clear. If we keep investing in ourselves, the future is awfully bright. And at this moment in time, so is our state and city. We're on an upward trajectory, together as a team, working for the betterment of our neighbors, investing in ourselves, and preparing the way for those who come after us. So I'll leave you with this thought. Henry Ford is credited with saying, coming together is a beginning, staying together is progress, and working together is success. In that continuum, we are achieving massive success. Arm in arm, we continue to build our future together. Thank you.